Hi there. My name is Bill Appleton. I'm with Dream Factory Software. We build an open source REST API for mobile application developers, and I'm going to talk to you today about the big shift from web pages to RESTful apps. Now, you've probably heard somebody talk about the end of the web. It has something to do with the fact that apps are getting more popular and websites are getting less popular. But I think if we dig into it a little bit, we can draw some conclusions about the future architecture of the internet, what's happening in middleware. This is the old architecture. Data, logic, presentation, app servers, PHP, JSP, big machines that build HTML websites. And this is really kind of a click, get a page, round trip type of technology where user input goes to the app server, goes to the database, images a page, sends it back down to the browser. One problem is that HTML pages have a huge amount of data in them. They've got graphics, layout, scripting, text, and all this other stuff. So for round trip technologies, it really does take up a lot of bandwidth on the network. Lucky thing that the legacy internet is basically based on Ethernet or Ethernet-backed wireless. Tends to be high bandwidth, tends to be low latency, and is cheap. You're usually paying for the connection. You're not necessarily paying for the actual bytes that go across the network. Now, all of this stuff goes down to a desktop browser, which basically takes the HTML and draws a picture of the application. But now we have all these new mobile devices. And that old network doesn't really help you in this new world. And so what is the new stack going to look like? And this is kind of what I think it's going to end up looking like. We've got a bunch of new data sources on the back. We've got a bunch of smart devices on the client. And in the middle, we've got a service platform that connects those two things. Now, the mobile network tends to be lower in bandwidth, higher in latency, and more expensive. You're probably paying for the bytes, and it probably takes a delay to send any given transaction. So that's not good for the old style of HTML websites. We've got tablets and phones. HTML5 is for single-page web apps, and native apps can't use HTML at all. They need some other technology. And if that wasn't bad enough for HTML, we're now coming up to the Internet of Things, wearables, and all kinds of other devices that definitely won't have a browser. So how do these things communicate to the internet? How do they save data, and how do they do collaboration? And the answer that people seem to be coming up with is REST APIs. So it works kind of like the old internet. You specify a URL and you get a document back. So it's a very simple model, but the difference is often that document is JSON, JavaScript object notation. And if you compare a JSON data packet to an entire web page, it tends to be about 20 times smaller. So that really helps you address the low bandwidth problem of mobile networks. Also, you've got smart clients now, and that can help you address the latency problem. So now instead of click, get a page, click, get another page, a smart client can load all the data, work with it locally, and then save the data at another time when it has better bandwidth. So putting those two stacks together, this is the paradigm shift I think we're going to see, and we're moving to the right where we're going to need new data sources at the top, and we're going to support smart devices with JSON instead of HTML across the wire. So what is the middle part, though? A service platform. That's where we can hook up legacy data sources, provide user management and security, and deliver a REST API down to the client with a client SDK. So here's the most important thing. Developers and business logic is moving from the middleware tier in the old model to the client in the new model. And so this really makes single developers a lot more important than they used to be. Here's kind of the old situation. You've got a team of people on the server side cobbling together a bunch of different data sources to put it all into an HTML page and send it down to a dumb browser. This is kind of the new situation, where a single developer at the client or a small team has a REST API which exposes everything on the server side that they need. There is no server-side development. It's not necessary. That's all baked. And so this really is why we're seeing all these exciting new tools for client app dev. This is why client developers are more important than ever, and startups are more important than ever, and you're here at the Fluent Conference. Thank you.